Welcome to the Art of Action Figures. On this episode, I have something a little bit out of my ordinary collecting sphere, and it is the Jazwares Pokémon Select Mewtwo. And I saw this figure at Target for 20 or 25% off the pretty low base price of $20, so thought I would pick him up and see what this line's all about. I don't really collect Pokemon figures, but Mewtwo, thanks to his sort of legendary status in the early games, the movie, his inclusion in Smash Brothers, his overall kind of humanoid design, he kind of transcends the Pokemon genre, and I think stands a chance of being a little bit more fun, posable, humanoid sort of action figure. Okay, starting off with the box, first things first, it's gigantic. So to give you a sense of scale, here is a Figuarts Gohan box. So we're a good 1.5 inches taller, wider by maybe another almost inch, and then quite a lot thicker as well. So I don't really know if they could have maybe made his tail removable and a separate piece and shrunk this box down a little bit. I think I'd appreciate that as just a collector who likes to keep figures boxes. This one, I don't know, not really practical to do that with. Let's see. Details on the front. I see this is 8+ instead of your typical like 4+ that you would find on the Target aisle figures. So, not really sure what exactly distinguishes 8+ and 4+. Probably like size of some of the parts. Maybe these fingers, pins in the elbow. I don't know. He is articulated in 3 languages, and got a nice, like, glossy Pokemon logo with Pikachu. It really jumps off this gray background, so that's good. Little grayscale render of Mewtwo on the box there. Flipping around to the right-hand side, Pikachu motif is repeated. The little lightning zigzag. Grayscale Mewtwo in a more power-wielding pose, and a little backdrop of Pokemon Pokeballs for some texture. On the back, let's see, we've got the Jazwares information. We also have a Series 5 cross-sell, which includes Suicune, Charizard, Tyranitar, Pikachu again, Window, top of the box, only at Target, not suitable for children under 36 months. That is a specific way to say 3 years, so yeah, remove the packaging, ties, bags, and fasteners before giving toy to child. Retain package and any instructions for future reference as they contain important information. All right, well, I guess I can't throw the box away. It says to retain it. So let's go ahead and bust him out. I think it's going to be a bit of a chore since he does have one of my least favorite memories of action figures past, which is these little plastic. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and open him from the bottom. There is just a little bit of tape. Got my trusty hobby knife. I actually already cut the tape pre-filming, but now we'll do the tried and true blade under the flap, push down towards the back, and should be able to just wedge that out of there nice and clean, no wrinkle. It's going to be pretty hard to capture this part on camera just due to the sheer size of this boy. Okay, and we'll just let him slowly descend box elevator here. Now the figure is in his little tray, imprisoned with these plastic bands. Let's see, what else? Oh, you know what? He appears to come with a display stand. I was not expecting that, but it is hidden at the top of the box here. It kind of has like a design reminiscent of like a Pokémon arena stage. So that's pretty neat. You got your stadium lights up there. And then, an inverted Pokeball motif. Pretty cool. Matches the outside of the box. And then taped to the top, we've got our hinged display pieces. These dreaded plastic ties. I've got the trusty nippers. And we'll go ahead and go at these one at a time. I think the main reason I don't like these is, one, you have to cut them and they're dangerously close to the figure a lot of times to bring sharp objects. And reason number two, I just don't like destructible packaging that, like, once you've cut into it, you can never put the figure back in its original state. Again, really like sort of collector-friendly packaging that I can reseal and put the figure back in just for storage and transportation. But I don't think that's what we're going to get here, so let's see. Which one should we start with? Let's go left to right. Bring these in. All right, 1, 2. Definitely, yeah, you want to keep these away from kids and pets, especially. Usually I take those choking hazard warnings for pets as well as for small people. Let's see. That's another reason I'm not really a fan of these, because they can sometimes fly away from you and become lost to the netherworld of the carpet. Oh, I don't like this one. It's very close to his back. I think I got it safely. And 2 more, I believe. One on this hand. And then there's a little protective sleeve on that. And then one that is way in there around this foot. Got it. All right, that's all of them. Let's go ahead and peel him out of there. And he is a rather hefty boy. And I think most of the weight is in his tail, which is going to be interesting for balance. This is a bendy, flexible tail with a wire of some kind so that it can kind of hold various positions. I do wish that it articulated a little bit closer to his body so you could get more of a tight circle. We'll go over articulation top to bottom though. And so far, yeah, just taking them in. See how the joints feel. Got a little bit of a clickiness to them. Pretty typical of your domestic brands. Oh, we've got the famous bendy wire breathing holes. I'm not really sure why bendy wire tails and things like that require these. And then you have some information printed on the tail, which don't love to see that. Would rather that go on like the bottom of the foot if you must put it on the figure. Now the packaging said there was instructions, but I don't think I found it. Let's see, you can kind of work the tail around this way so that that goes on the bottom. That's not bad. It is a little bit slick feeling. Articulated fingers were one of the things that stood out to me when I saw this guy. Don't see that very much, but it works well with his design, so yeah, pretty interesting point of articulation. Or the bicep swivel is also a little bit light tension. Not too bad though. Nice double jointed elbow. Got the thick thighs save lives Pokemon Queen here. A bit soft plastic on this tube, his neck tube. These hinges at the bottom of his legs are not strong enough to hold his body weight, really. So you're going to have to use his tail as kind of a third leg, and that's not too bad. I was kind of expecting that. But yeah, like I was saying, thanks to his appearance in Smash and movie and things like that, he kind of transcends the Pokemon genre a little bit. But here he is with the SHF Superhero Ultimate Gohan. You know, coming in around the same height, certainly not the same proportions, but that is, you know, pretty workable. I mean, Pokemon, who knows what Pokemon scale is. I don't really remember in the movie how he scales with some of the humans, but that is a believable height for me. Alright, let's run through his articulation. The series is one that I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to be kind of figuring it out on the fly here. But he does have a shoulder swivel hinge, and it does go up at a bit of an angle, not helped by a butterfly joint or anything, but let's see, can I get it to go a little bit straighter? That's about the limits, and then let's go ahead and put this one going back, and we'll get him in a straight horizontal line, so gives us sort of a baseline. Alright, now the neck is on what appears to be kind of a swivel hinge, and it in theory could go back, but this tube pushes it right back forward. I'm not sure if you want to do that too many times or it risks probably breaking it. You can actually just pull it out. It is not like pegged in or anything, so you don't have to worry about it breaking off in there. And you know what? That actually works, because if you wanted to do some kind of pose with his neck looking up, you could just kind of put the tube out to the side like this, going down. Really nice 45 as well. Alright, plug this back in. Alright. And then he has a double ball torso, it seems, so actually pretty impressive tilt going back, and then not much tilt at the upper torso going back, so I'm wondering if that'll go more forward. Usually that's the way they balance two torso joints. A little bit more forward out of the top, but you get a little bit out of the bottom too. Not a ton of crunch forward, but pretty awesome range going back, which is good for a character that flies. And like combined with the head, yeah, you could get him looking forward, so that's pretty sick. Let's see, legs. They have some kind of swivel hinge in here, and it does run into his waist piece at a certain point. You can kind of push it back past that, but I think I'm stretching something in doing that, so not sure I like keeping it that way myself, but he does get, you could consider that 90. It's a little bit hard. Yeah, you know, look at the angle of his thigh. That's 90. yeah, so 90 forward. And you know what? You can get it all the way up going backwards. It does protest in the middle a little bit, so do that at your own risk. You've got to stretch something to get it past that. But that works really nicely. Single hinge swivel at the knee gets you, I don't know, between here and here, maybe 90 degrees as well. And then another hinge at his ankle, I guess. I don't know what you call the second knee joint on creatures with this type of leg. But then you have another hinge at the foot or the toes. Gets a good 90 plus degrees, so that's pretty cool. And then his tail, you can straighten it out. Going back, it swivels where it's connected to his body. And let's see, this side has all that writing on it. Not big fan of that, but this side nice and clean, so we'll show this articulation off. Yeah, it can go flat, it can go down and twist around, but it does spring back and up. Yeah, most of your bend is going to come in this thinner part, but that's pretty good. I think that's probably like the default pose I would keep him in, and then I think he'll probably like lean back from there, but that looks pretty okay to me. Yeah, that looks pretty neutral. Okay, got a little bit of a pelvis thing going on. Let's see now. T-pose up. Mentioned the bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow goes almost 180. Head looks left to right fairly easily, but you're also getting some swivel out of the torso there, which works a little better because the tube does kind of pull his head around a little bit if you don't remove it. He gets, let's see, not really any tilt. You can kind of use the hinge and rotate to get a little tilt simulated, but now I gotta rotate it back somehow. Let's see. Come on now. Will it ever go back? Not sure. Okay, well, you can rotate the neck and tilt that way, so that works, but now he may be stuck in that position. There we go. Now it's over-rotated the other way. Okay, it's backwards now, but nobody knows, so I'm okay with it. Okay, arms can go further up than T. The torso joints combine to tilt that much. His legs probably not going to kick out to the side. Yeah, not really. I don't know if there's a hinge in there actually, or if it's just a swivel. Swivels all down the legs. Actually, does that top one swivel? I'm not sure it does, but this one does. Kinda. Not too much though, and that's okay. I think he'd be pretty unstable if it did. And yeah, that's about all there is, except for these articulated fingers, which are also swivel hinges. Actually, I don't know if they're swivel hinges, but they're definitely hinges. And they can go from spread all the way out. Let's get them back as far as they'll go. To, I don't know, a Mewtwo fist. Yeah, overall, he looks pretty good. It's a clean design, so there's not too much paint that needs to happen. I think just a little on this lower section here, and I think you do have a bit of an unsightly hole there where the stand plugs in. A little bit of color and finish mismatch between the tail and the waist. A little bit of glossiness on the head. And some of the harder plastic pieces like in the torso. It's a little inconsistent, but I mean, for the price, I think I'm pretty happy with this. And he'll go really nicely in sort of a video game shelf. Some joints a little bit looser than I would like. The torso kind of has some wiggle going on. These swivels, the hinges and the elbows, they're not like floppy loose, but very light on the tension. Let's see if I can get them to hold. This toe hinge is a little loose as well. This swivel, I thought this was a swivel in his leg, but maybe not. And now it just seems kind of misaligned. Is the other one like that? I guess the other one's like that too, so maybe it's supposed to be that way. Doesn't support his own weight very well. Most of his weight is in his big tail. He does have a one direction hinge wrist. Wish he could swivel a little bit there too, but let's pose him up like he is on the box art on the side of his box. He has kind of a wider stance than I think this figure will be able to hit. He rotates at the torso like that, reaches this arm out. And then he kind of has his head like that, so that's pretty good. And then this hand kind of back and wrist bent. Ooh, that wrist joint feels a little thin. Be careful on that one. Ooh, and I don't know about this tail pose, so on the box he's got it wrapped around behind him like that. Probably need a stand to support him doing this, but he does achieve something close. Yeah, I don't know. Joints are a little loose, and the weight distribution in the tail and head articulation are not flooring me, but again, like I said, for the price, I think I'm okay with it. Definitely fills a Mewtwo-shaped hole if you have such a thing in your figure collection. And yeah, I think he looks pretty cool. Definitely easy enough to do pretty basic poses with. I know there's a Figuarts / D-Arts Mewtwo out there, but don't really think he's worth the aftermarket price that he goes for these days. It's like $200 or something. 20 is a lot better. And I don't know if that D-Arts or Figuarts Mewtwo is 10 times better than this one. Might be like 2 or 3 times better. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm happy with this. Alright, let's see if we can get some cool shots. Turn down the lights. If you wanted to do a flying pose, let's see how well you can pull that off. Bend that bendy tail as much as we can. Oh yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty well. Let's get that tube out. It's the only real problem at the head. Get these arms going back. Now I know the meaning of friendship. Probably not a line I'm going to go super deep in. If they make a little Mew figurine with a little bit of articulation, it'd be cool to pair one of those with this guy. As long as you can kind of get into a circular shape. Let's see, I think he kind of does like a psychic ball attack in Smash. The Pokemon Kamehameha. Looks pretty cool. Not bad, not bad. There we go.